Doesn't even rhyme.
Yeah, it does.
Bring it back on the mic.
Out of those.
Everybody up. Go.
Would you sign off?
Turn the mic up on the mic.
Out of those.
Let me in.
Never rust. Go weird. Bring it back on the mic.
Out of those.
Everybody up. Go.
Would you sign off?
Turn the mic up on the mic.
Out of those.
Let me in.
Never rust. Go weird. Bring it back on the mic.
Out of those.
Everybody up. Go.
Would you sign off?
Turn the mic up on the mic.
Out of those.
Let me in.
Never rust. Go weird. Bring it back on the mic.
Out of those.
Everybody up. Go.
Would you sign off?
Turn the mic up on the mic.
Out of those.
Let me in.
Never rust. Go weird.
And all was with me and dad made a sound. And all was with me and dad made a sound.
Bring it back on the
All
mic.
was with me
Everybody up. Go.
and dad made a sound.
Turn the mic up on the
All
mic.
was with me and
Never
dad made
rust.
a
Go weird.
sound. Wow.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to another DaraChat. My name is Dara Moose, or Dara for short. Now, like I said earlier, my guest is running a little late. They're still doing their show, so it'll be a while before they get here. I'm also trying to keep an eye on things just in case, like they have technical issues. like Mike, like a bit like Mike Mullis yesterday, and who else? Oh, this is not good when you forget about the person. It's before Mike Mullis. I'll have to look it up. Just apologies. Wasn't him. Wasn't him. I can't remember who it was. But anyway, I hope you are having a wonderful night. Again, my guest will be running a little late, and so that should be interesting. But yeah, he was, let's just say, it was a bit of a waiting game for trying to get him on. Now, Luke, that's right, Luke. Yeah, thank you for remembering that. Luke's Awakening is the other person, but yeah. So, but however, we were able to get that resolved, and of course, we got Mike Mullis resolved yesterday, so that was pretty nice. But yeah, today it's going to be Mr. Tom Connors. Now, if you don't know who he is a I don't know if he's co-owner or owner of Midnight's Edge, because he does it with Andre. I've been watching Midnight's Edge for quite some time. It's just that I've never been in a position where I'm creating content and I invite somebody on, whatever. And I've invited a bunch of different people on, obviously, but yeah, I just went ahead and say, would you care to join? And of course, he's a busy guy. The guy does a stream almost every day at this point. I mean, come on. But the matter of it is that it was a bit of a waiting game, and you kind of just have to let things be. You just kind of have to do what you do. But yeah, so it worked out well enough that he is coming on sometime shortly, and of course another person who's been on the Midnight's Edge is coming on as well, but that will be in July. So it's been a hectic of trying to one build up enough confidence just to say, would you like to come on? And of course, if they say no, you kind of just have to walk it off. But it's also building up that confidence to be like, just to take the opportunity to try, because I can ask all these people, but whether I hear something back or not is totally up to them. And I'm just here to just enjoy this process, because again, I don't I, I don't know how to do these things. He does 2 streams a day normally. I think, yeah, Midnight Edge, and Midnight. Yeah, hold on. He does. And the issue of it is, like, he's a busy guy. Yeah, I'm on. But trying to get out. Okay, so he's gonna take a while. Hold on. It's okay. We'll be here when ready. Good, sir. Okay. So he's trying to get out of it. But no, I'm grateful that he said yes. I didn't think it'd be possible, to be honest with you, because I did try asking Nina Infinity, of course, but she declined for the time. Well, there's opportunity to do that in the future. But right now, just wasn't the case. So we try again later. That's all one can do. But uh, getting Tom on to just talk to him, and yeah, I know he also toxic femininity. Yeah, once a week. Yep, they do that too. But it's sort of just like, one, personally building up the confidence, and two, being able to just ask. Like, Tom's a normal person, like every one of us, right? He can bleed, he can get sick, or what, once a week, yeah, once a week. But the thing of it is just to get up the gumption to ask and say, hey, would you belong? And of course, I have to explain like what the show is, and it's one of those things like, what's the show about? It's like, what's a free flowing conversational show? And it's like, okay, got it, because it's not like, I don't want people to think I'm doing like a gotcha or anything, or I'm here to corner you in a corner or something like that. No, it's just come on and let's have a conversation, because at the end of the day, I just don't see a lot of, you can have whatever of talking about a certain topic, but for me, I'm just like, I'm open field. Let's just start there, right? You're having tea in a garden, but the garden is so open that you're just like, you're just like, oh, where do we start? Where do we begin? And yeah, I'm grateful that he's coming on soon. So he's trying to get out of it, or he's trying to end that show. But yeah, he's a busy guy. Most of the bigger streams are because they stream. Yeah, they do. I mean, that's what they've made their job. I mean, again, I have a full-time job. Their full-time job is streaming, and while I get it, you know, if I were to get to the point where I'm in that same position or not, I'd be like, well, I'd still make time for people who ask. I mean, as long as they're not like gotchas or whatever, people who are just trying to entrap for some weird, stupid reason. But the thing of it is to take a remembrance that you started from somewhere, right? And you kind of and that's sort of my thing with paying it forward. Paying it forward means to also be in a place of humility, not humiliation. That's a totally different subject, but humility, because you kind of have to bring yourself down a bit, right? Like, I'm not some big time whatever person, and Tom is neither, but you do get to a point where you kind of just have to remain humble about it. Otherwise, you could end up being what's the term? Dickish? Yeah, dickish. There's other words too, but I'm not going to put those out there. But yeah, I just, there, maybe one day I can ask Markiplier to come on. Who knows? I don't think it will. But my aim isn't to do like every big person. It's to try more for like, trying to like confidence, trying to see if I can. But the thing about it is try to go all over the field. It's trying to go ask all over this field, because at the end of the day, I think people tend to forget, whether you're big or small or not a creator at all, you you're still human at the end of the day. And um and that's what I want to try to do. Yes, there's some content creators that I followed in the past or still follow that I'd like to have on. Sure, there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not going to stop me from having, like, say, Galaxy Red or Panda Sub or so many other people on, because at the end of the day, they help make this thing a possibility. And that I am forever grateful for, because I didn't think I'd be here. I didn't think I'd be doing this silly little thing where I'm talking to well, maybe not like a whole world, but I'm certainly talking to a big enough corner that people are like, oh, okay. And then the conversation, talking with Mike Mullis yesterday, and Luke's Awakening, and all these different people, I'm grateful I get to at least talk to them in some manner. And technology is a funny thing, allowing this to do that, but it's also a double-edged sword. So it is how it goes. But regardless, yeah. And the funny thing too is, there's a VTuber I was talking to. Have you tried? I don't know about Stuttering Craig. My thing with Stuttering Craig is that he streams merch every day, and I know he goes on to G and all that stuff. I will try. I will try, but it's a 50-50 shot basically at this point. I will try, because July is almost filled. I wanted to say that as well. July is almost filled. There are probably maybe a week or 2 weeks days worth left in the month, and I've been trying to contact people. There's one person I'm waiting on. I have to ask him. I'll probably wait. There's one person in July. I'm waiting until the July to contact. I'm seeing if I can get this person on, because they asked to wait till July. So there's that. There's another person I've had on before, waiting to ask on, and a few others. My month is pretty much getting filled, and I might save them for another time. I thought about trying to do Eric July for July, but I bailed on that one. So I may try, because again, these people, like you said, Galaxy Red, these people are busy. They have their own thing. And for me, someone who's small, right, very small, and who's trying to be all the field, right, trying to be as much of the field as I possibly can. I don't, I understand their point. No. I understand it. It's just from my perspective, I see, Stuttering Craig doing like all weekdays, and then he's doing this gaming stuff and all that. And he's a busy guy, but he also has a family too. So it's not like I can, again, I'll ask. I will ask either or. Not saying it'll be successful, just saying that I will ask, because they're considered big in their own right. But at the end of the day, we're still human beings, and when we can come together and just sit down and just talk about whatever, because Stuttering Craig is about the entertainment and all the other stuff, and I'm just about pretty much everything I can get my hands on. I guess it's a selfishness, but it's also an understanding of, like, I don't want to be tied down to just one niche area. Like, I don't understand much about science, but hey, someone likes talking about science. Let's bring them on. Someone's interested in talking about how to make games. I really don't know how to make games. Hey, I can still talk about making game goes to some degree. Let's do that. Then there's a whole different plethora of things to talk about. I may not be in the same field as them, but I can still try and have a conversation. And it's difficult sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's about being able to come to the table and break bread, and not treat the other person like there's something more than just beyond human flesh, right? Because at the end of the day, we're all human flesh. We're all gonna pass away eventually. But yeah, it's just a fun time having all these different people on. And sometimes I ask and there's no answer. Sometimes I ask and there's an answer, but there's never a sure at the end of it. Sometimes there's a ask at another date, which there are a few people I'm waiting on for. And when I do these things, right, on asking people on, I always have a worry of, like, oh, what if I can't fill a month? What if I can't? I don't have to. Look, I don't have to fill a month. I don't have to fill any month. I could just do one day a month. that be it. But the thing of it is, though, is every time, every month that I fill with people, I'm showing that there's a whole lot of different people, whether old or new, wanting to have a conversation about whatever. There's something there that's showing that there's something missing. And I know Genki Free is probably gonna come and say, "Hey, I do that too." Holy shnikes! Oh, holy crap! Um, no, my oh, 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 thank you, everyone. Wow, my YouTube side just jumped like crazy. I was like, what the hell? I'm open. I hope that means come on. Well, thank you. Hello, YouTube side. Yes, my name is Dara Moose, or Dara for short. Um, and thank you all for coming here. I bet you all from Midnight's Edge, so I thank you for coming. Uh, and we should be number one. Sorry, I couldn't raise. Oh yes, I saw that from Stir Craig. Yes. Uh, Need Raid. Thank you guys so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. I thank Tom for that because he didn't have to send his people over or whatever. So I thank you guys so much. I have to put that in chat. Thank you all for being here. Okay. But anyway, but yeah, Tom must have told him. Yeah, no, that's great. I didn't think that happened. So, but again, it's not. That's the first time. That's probably the one and only time we'll ever see that happen. But thank you all for being here. I saw that jump and was like, oh, something happened. But yeah, if you people are coming in, my name is Dara, or Dara Moose, or Dara. That's how it's spelt. It's pronounced. And what I do is I do this free-flowing conversational show where I just talk to people or whatever. I was washing a dish or whatever, but I wouldn't be here. Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, everyone. I know I'm probably not the most interesting person in the world, but at the end of the day, all I'm here about is sitting down, having conversations with others, whether they're big or small, or not a creator at all. Because at the end of the day, if you were to look through my list of people that I have had come through, there are people who, yes, they are creators to some degree, but they're not. I mean, they have their spot, whatever. Panda Sub 2000, I've had on a few times, and the dude's awesome. The dude is putting a lot of work in to his craft. I've had people like Jack Tarlad. Oh, he's in. Oh, this should be fun. No, I've had people like Jack Tarlad in, who and Tom, let me know if you need some help or not. But I've had Jack Tarlad on several times, and I don't know what is on those post-its, but so the post-it notes behind me, those are so on Rumble you are monetized in day one, right? When I first for a minute, it's not. Hey, my name's Dara Muth. Hey guys, Dara. But yeah, those post-it notes are those red ones you see here. Those are memberships that $5 a month on Rumble, and the other ones are just rants that people have sent me. It's just a way of sending, doing support. And we'll be able to get on it right, because sometimes the finickiness of Rumble Studios is interesting. But anyway, thank you guys. Welcome. I know this isn't. I'm not a person tied down to a topic or in some sort of. It's a guitar. It basically is. I haven't played it in a while though. But yeah, I am Rifle. Oh, there he is. Hello, Tom. But the thing of the matter is I don't tie myself down to a topic, because.
Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, I can. Oh dear Lord, thank you. Yeah, I can hear you. Well, hello, sir.
Okay. Can everybody else hear me?
Yes.
I don't know. I don't even know if I'm in or out or where. I don't know if I can change my image or what's going on here. I don't think I've ever been in this before, so this is new for me.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Oh, you just muted yourself again.
Yeah.
No. Yes. Well, yeah, and I've had people come in on Rumble Studios and they've had some camera issues. Most of the time it's been like OBS virtual cam, that sort of thing. They can hear you, but they can't see you, and I can't bring you up because it's sort of like StreamYard, but it's not close enough, right? Because in StreamYard, you can still have your avatar thing up and have that pulsy thing around it. So it is what it is. But yeah, and they can hear you. They can hear you. I mean, your voice is not like that unrecognizable. So, you know.
All right, cool. I just wanted to make sure that I don't know if I just see you, so I have no idea what's on the other thing.
No, you're fine. So you see for mine, you see the chat to the right, right?
Yep.
No, you can see that. Okay. So yeah, and it's probably been your first time in Rumble Studios. So
it is. Yes.
So, but yeah, just the a quick rundown. It is a. Oh, thank you. I like hearing about you. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, and I know, like you were asking Tom earlier, people ask like what the topic is or whatever. But really, I'm just about just conversing about whatever because, well, yeah, no, it's he's not. I don't know how to explain it. It's not an image that can be brought up. He knows me from the. Oh, okay, there's Galaxy Red right there. Ninja Turtles and Gremlins. Yeah, funny thing is that when I was a kid, I used to have the old. My uncle bought me one of the Ninja Turtle blankets. You know, the 80s, 87 one stuff. But anyway, thank you for coming on, Mr. Tom. I know you're a busy guy. I mean, dear Lord, I've seen the majority of your shows at times. Do you ever sleep at all?
Not as much as I should, that's for sure.
Because I was like, because you do a stream every day, and I think you do something on the weekends as well, don't you?
Oh, I do something just about every day, yeah. So it hardly ever fails.
Well, I thank you anyway. I know I'm not the biggest person in the world, but hey, I decided to take a shot and it worked out. Because I've been following you guys for quite some time, and I was actually there when Paul Chato was suggested. Because
cool.
I was one of the super chats. So I was like, hey, there's this guy, Paul Chato. And I was like, wow, yeah, it worked. It finally worked. But anyway, yeah. So what you were talking about Disney earlier, weren't you?
Yes.
Uh-oh. What's going on with Disney now?
Oh boy, what isn't? We've had the O'Keefe report where he's got a bunch of the Disney leaks, of course. There's stuff going on there for sure. Otherwise, there's some other minor Disney news or what have you, but yeah.
For the Star Wars stuff, for the Disney stuff, at a certain point, it's just like, you know, I don't know if you've seen the did you ever see that Sora.ai thing where you could make a prompt?
I know of it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
So when that came out, it's not out, right? It's still not out for the public yet. But when that came to fruition, I think that was that was kind of a point to the way that, you know, Hollywood itself is not going to be too much of an issue down the road because they, you know, if an individual can use technology to some degree, right? If an individual can use technology to some degree to create their own movie or short, you know, animation or whatever, I mean, at the end of the day, you're pretty much spitting in their eye and telling them, yeah, you can leave.
Yeah. Getting there. It's getting close.
And then there was there's something on Twitter X I saw, it's called Lumi Lums AI, Lumi Lab or something like that on AI on Twitter X, and there are people just making stuff with it, and it's just out to me. I'm just like, you gotta be crazy. Yeah, another O'Keefe video, and so I'm like, I've heard those discussions, right? You've probably heard those discussions too about, you know, AI, you know, good, bad, whatever. And I had a gentleman on. I've actually talked to two people from Alaska, so it's been an interesting time doing this thing. But I talked to a gentleman, Alaska man Jeff, and he, you know, he has his hesitations about all the stuff of the AI and all that because of the, you know, human art and all this. But my thing was that, you know, this whole, and it's not just AI, it's language learning models, it's machine learning, it's all this. AI is just a what's the term? An umbrella. Tool? Well, yeah, it's a tool, but it's an umbrella term. And you know, I don't know what your, you know, thoughts are on the whole deal, but while there
Well,
will
I've
be,
used some AI. I'm not
yeah.
totally against it, but I can see where there's concerns.
Mhm.
I mean, I have my own personal concerns with certain things with it.
Right.
For certain things, I don't see it as a problem,
Mhm.
but hopefully, it's not something that either causes too much issues in the future, or become too reliant on it for other things too. That would be a problem.
Yeah, I can see that. Uh, and I know I've been seeing your music videos using Suno.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I've seen the ones you put, like, oh.
Well, I mean, and I've been playing with some other AI stuff too, so it's not just music, but
Yeah. Which ones?
like
What
I've
else?
even
Go
well,
ahead.
I've been working on like an AI Andre and stuff too.
So the boss doesn't have to show up.
Kinda. I mean, I got a
Oh,
little clip here I can play.
oh, go for it.
Our story follows Ellen Brody, who believes that a shark is targeting her family out of revenge. Like it's the Godfather and they massacred his boy. The shark has a vendetta. I'm no marine biologist, but not so sure that's how the force works. But then again, considering how many sharks the Brody family has killed, the shark may have a point. They have single-handedly killed more sharks than global warming to this point, so I can see why he would have a vendetta for the Brody family. And speaking of vendettas and the Brodys, this shark has a GPS for the Brody family. It follows them from the icy waters of Amity Island to the Bahamas. Yes, the Bahamas. My GPS can't get me to a fucking gas station, but this shark can find the fucking remaining Brodys on Earth no problem.
That's just a snippet. I mean, yeah, we're
Holy,
working on it. It's getting
holy
there.
crap! Wow, no, that was pretty good. It almost felt like Andre was there. Oh my gosh, Andre!
It's pretty close. It's a little off yet. I mean, he and I could notice, and some people who
Yeah,
listen to him enough could notice, but it's
it's
scary. Yeah, it's getting close.
yeah, but yeah, and the thing of it is, right, is that I mean, there was a video I saw of someone having like on camera video like this of PewDiePie AI, and it was just partly AI because I'm pretty sure it was just a
Right.
masking whatever, but it would just be PewDiePie, and you already see these videos where it's just a AI voice reading some sort of script or whatever, and it's just like there was one on Johnny Carson, right? Because I've been watching some of the old Johnny Carson stuff, and it was just like it was very drone, it was very dull and all this stuff, but it was just reading off all this controversy of Johnny Carson and all that stuff, and yeah, and of course, in the back end of the YouTube end, they have that little marker where you have to mark, is this AI generated? Is this? Is that? Is whatever? And it's just like, it's a Pandora's box. Pandora's box is opened, and there's no going back, no matter how much anyone wants to. Um,
Yeah, in a way, you're not wrong there.
but yeah, I've used Midjourney. I've used Opus.pro, which you can use to make your shorts clips, from your streams. I've used Claude dot AI, which is basically, I think I can hold on. Here, let me show it. Go in the show. I get it. Thank you. There we go. So, I gotta do presentation. Sorry. There you go. This is Claude.ai, and you can do whatever. Now I use it to help, like, uh, you know, with summaries or descriptions, whatever, because my proofreading not so good. But you can. I always had somebody on talking about there are hot springs within the U.S. I want to see if I can try and find that. To be honest, where was that? Nope, 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 nope. White Bear. Yep. I have a lot of people come on. What the heck was it? Yeah, but you could see all the stuff you can use it for. Oh yeah. But anyway, so I'll just pick a random one. Here, I'll just use this. Here's yours for Midnight's Edge. So this is what I initially put up, right? For the description. I say, ask it, does this work or does it need improvement? And then I kind of go through like grammar and spelling and whatnot. And it just kind of helps me better myself in essence. I've throughout using it more and more, I've kind of updated and changed the wording. Like they're saying wording and stuff like because I use your description from your Twitter X and it
Right.
kind of talks about the humor and stuff. But there's a good and bad to the tool, right? Because that's with any tool. Hey Christy, I've had her on Flip City Magazine. She's been on. She's pretty cool. But there's a good and bad side to any technology, right? Because human beings, no matter what they create, it's always going to be double-edged sword, no matter what. I mean, you can have something like a pencil, right? You could create something like a number 2 pencil. You could draw art, you can wording whatever, and then you could be like John Wick and just take somebody out with it.
Right.
So
yes, AI is definitely a dangerous tool of sorts, I guess you could say. But if it's used correctly, it can be very well done.
Yeah, and all the fun stuff with it. But yeah, I get the arguments, but it's not going back. There's no going
Right.
back once it's out. So, but anyway, but at least did you at least have a good stream, even if it was about Disney?
Yeah, it was actually just difficult to get what we could in for news wise because just so much happening at once, so many other places. But Disney is seemingly dominating right now. So yeah.
Well, I know Disney is dominating because of the Okie stuff. Then there's the whole Dr. Disrespect stuff. Then there's of course the election stuff, and just on and on and on. And I'm very tired at this point of the 24/7 news cycle because I understand. Look, I understand how the game is played, right? You want to have a lot of people watching. You have to make if you make it a full-time business, you gotta make the money, you gotta generate the clicks and all that stuff. So you've got to pick that high end ordeal. And sometimes you choose the things you like to talk about, right? Like I've talked about a whole bunch of different things. But the matter of it is that you, as a content creator, if you make it a full-time job, you do have to be the whatever gets the algorithm right. But I know you
to a point. I mean, I don't get into certain things. And in Midnight's Edge, we just kind of have our kind of. We stick around in a certain kind of region of entertainment news. We don't really venture too far beyond that, or even into certain domains, unless it's crossed over in certain ways. Like even the politics thing was not something we initially had planned on getting into at all. It just kind of happened because of everything being shoved into it, politically wise, and however you want to term that. But no, like, yeah, it can be tough to keep up with all the news going on. So I just try to keep up with the main things that I'm supposed to keep up with for the most part.
Yeah.
And some things I stay either out of or completely am blissfully ignorant about. So, it doesn't really bog me down so much.
Right. And it's part of that because if you get into it, it can, junk up, what Midnight Says is trying to be. Because, I mean, you do represent your brand. You and so I got to ask the question, is it both you and Andre that share Midnight Says, or is it Andre that created it and you just hopped in? Because I'm not sure.
Kind of more the latter, but it's kind of like what happened is Andre started it with this other guy named Kevin, and Kevin went off to do his own stuff unrelated to YouTube, as far as I know, that he just kind of handed the keys over to Andre. And, Andre had Rob to help out with a few things. And there was this other guy, I think at that time too, that would help out with a few things that has gone on to do other things as well. But so Andre tried bringing me and a few other people in at the same time to try and help him out. And me at first, what I was initially brought in for, I ended up having to take on the roles of the other individuals, because
Jeez.
nobody else kind of either stuck by it or wanted too much, or other things that just too much to get into. And Andre does get into more in our member videos that just it's just in and outs, minutia.
Right.
But no, like, so when I signed on with Andre at that point, I think we were well known, but we weren't big yet. Like, this was just post Ghostbusters and moving into Spider-Man stuff.
Mm.
So, and I was even there working in the background for a while before I ever was put on a stream, or before we even adopted the Midnight's Edge name or anything like that. It went through like this phase plan that we went through. So like, he had called me initially in like April, but it wasn't until like June or July before we started transferring things over to where, because I had another channel and stuff that I'd been working on, actually a couple channels
Right.
that I'd been working on prior to that. And then the one we just decided to make Midnight's Edge After Dark.
Mm.
And when that switchover happened or whatever, and then since then, we've grown and grown and grown, and I'm kind of the only one with him still that's been there since that long, and I've been
Jeez.
with him the longest. So I mean, I guess there's a way of looking at it. Yes, he started it and all this stuff, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I've also, him and I have been kind of partners in crime more so longer than anything.
Yeah, because
And then of course Mikey has kind of come in, Mexican Iron Man, as far as like in more of a CFO kind of role of sorts. So I mean, we have that kind of, like, I'm kind of like more of the COO of the company, and then of course the CEO would be Andre. But then we have, of course, the Espanol crew as well. And I mean, I have like Pablo, who's part of that, who also helps me with some editing and stuff like that from time to time, and actually more so than not lately. But yeah, so I mean, we've kind of expanded in that role. But again, it's a struggle. It's a day in, day out, it's a lot of work. You're right. It's tough when people ask, like, what would you say about getting into YouTube? When I say don't, it's like, yeah, because nowadays it's tough. But yeah.
Yeah, and before we go any further, hey, Dalu, or anyone who's asking about the post-it notes. The post-it notes in the back are sort of people who've donated. So Rumble is a day one monetization, right? And so people who've donated a rant or the $5 a month membership, which are those red ones, those are what those are. The people who've donated to whatever. The ones with the 2-1 is just because the one tape didn't work, so I just put 2 on there. But they're basically just, a way of, hey, this person donated this, I put it there. I know they're kind of too far away, but you see all the pretty colors, and people like pretty colors. So, but that's what they are. They're just sort of my way.
I just thought you forgot shit, so you needed to write it
down. Did you ever see? Did you see Fall Guy?
Yes, yeah, I did.
So when I keep looking at that, kind of reminds me of when he just like that was hilarious. Yeah. But no, they so, and that's probably something I'll ask you, but in a bit. But just say he took the idea from Surrey. Yes. Okay. So that is true. There's another content creator I've watched in the past. I haven't watched because I'm making my own content, and it's kind of full-time job making content. The name's Stuttering Craig from the Side Scroller podcast. And when he would get, I'm not monetized on YouTube, so there's no gifted memberships or whatever. It's just Rumble. But when he would get a gifted sub, maybe a membership or a super chat or whatever, he would write that down and put it up on the wall and all that stuff. And I sort of got that idea from him because, like, well, I wanted to do something like, as a thanks, whatever. Because now, I know it's been one of those things that people complain about for a while, but now on Rumble, you can go back and see who's subscribed to you, see who's following you on membership while, and see your rant, your previous rant, so that you can go back and read them. And of course, I know that was a big thing for all. But yes, those post notes are just a gratitude sort of thing, because I started out doing this. I use StreamYard. I just recorded videos, pre-recorded videos, nothing, because I wasn't streaming at the time. And then no, Sam Jenkins he's not donated, so he's not been on there. But no, so I started using StreamYards, recording video, because that's what it was. And then I didn't. You had to pay like $25 a month to like stream to 2 different links, or you have to stream beyond one link. And I was like, I'm not doing that. So I did OBS, and you get a multi plugin, and you could stream to multiple places, and that was great for a while. But I had kept having to, manually add in the Rumble stuff because it didn't have like a drop. It wasn't in the drop down list that OBS has. And then Rumble came out with its own thing, Rumble Studios, as in beta. So I signed up for the beta. I was on a wait list, probably like the third or fourth wave of people coming in. I got to try it, and I've been with it ever since. Now, obviously, I understand. It is somewhat it is somewhat similar to StreamYard. It's not exactly, and I know people still have their issues with it, but at the end of the day, for what it's worth and for how long to stick with it, Rumble Studios has been great. And for what I do, I just do this. I'm not like a gamer. I did do some of that in the past. I know it just makes like you link up your X, your YouTube, your Kick, whatever. It's just a slide over once you initially link it up, and then it's just it can go all out. And it still has issues, of course, but yeah, but for the content creation, I mean, you've talked, it's been difficult. Like, what is your day normally like just doing this? Right? Because I know you do morning and evening, but
Oh, God.
in general.
A typical day in my life, like literally, is I get up,
Mhm.
and depending on let's just say a normal day, let's say I get up at like, because the morning show would be 11 o'clock my time, so I'd be up at anywhere between 9 and 10 o'clock.
Mhm.
I get up, I feed the animals, let Sadie out,
Mhm.
do my typical shower, whatever, if I need one for the day, what have you.
Right.
Try to eat something for breakfast if I can, and jump on the show.
Mhm.
Then after the show, then I try to squeeze in some sort of lunch, deal with the animals again if I hadn't already dealt with them a dozen times throughout the day
Mhm.
while I was on the stream. And then depending on the day, I either have another show I have to jump to, or I actually get some free time. And if I get some free time, then either I'm napping or working on a video for Andre. That's the other thing, is trying to squeeze that in all between when Andre sends me videos. If Pablo can't edit it or something like that and I'm busy, then I have to try and find a way to work it in. And sometimes I just have to cancel other appearances and whatnot. And
Yeah.
honestly, I was almost surprised he didn't send me something that I was going to almost have to cancel on you earlier, because he's been working on like 2 different videos in the background. So, yeah. So like, other than that, well, there's a lot going on right now. It's a lot of news. So yeah, it is what it is. But that being said, like, yeah, and then just basically from there, it's either another show or get something done, and then try to find some time for me at the end of the day, even though if that normally doesn't happen, or even to watch some of these shows or movies that, it gets tough. I mean, that's the one thing that, I don't know if some people realize that, before you know it, your whole day is shot.
Yep.
And there's no way you could sit down and watch a 2-hour movie, or, a couple episodes of The Acolyte or whatever it's supposed to be. And I try to avoid some of those shows in general, just out of principle, but also because it gets detrimental after a while to your overall general mental health and whatnot. Because I try to watch as much stuff that I think I'm going to enjoy or I'm going to like.
Yeah.
Because I get shoved into watching stuff that I know I'm not going to like so often that plus you got to have a barometer there. And I think a lot of things, I mean, I've always been a classic fan, but I also, not to go on a tangent, but I also feel like it is good to remember how good things were, because things are a lot worse than they used to be. Even some of the stuff that we think is decent now is like, nah, it's not as good as you think. With that being said, like, yeah, no. So then, like, at that point, if I can, find the point to watch some TV or what have you, have a late supper, maybe shower if I didn't shower earlier in the day, what have you. Like I said, depending on the day, where whatever streams roll, and that's literally most of my days. I know I wish it was more exciting than that, but it is.
No, don't. I when I started doing this stuff, I mean, I didn't think I'd be here, right? I didn't think I'd be at this point doing it, because majority of my stuff, I did like movie review stuff from my perspective. I did, talking about little bits throughout the day thing, and then like perspective of gaming or whatever. But at the end of the day, though, once I hit this conversational stuff, I was like, it's working. This thing is because from my point of view, right, as an adult, you're not really told, you're not really shown. Okay, you go here, you go here, you go here. All you have to do is do that, and you'll be fine. No, in life, as an adult, you got to search for that thing, right? You got to search for that thing you want to do, or the thing that just makes sense to you, that it just clicks. And for me, for a majority of my life, I went from trying to get like my CompTIA plus because I was trying to do computer stuff, and I was like, oh, all right, and then just wandering. As an adult, you wander for a while, and when I got over, and I know this is a bit of a change, I apologize, just to explain myself, but in doing this sort of thing, I hesitated. I wasn't sure about doing this. You're sort of like, oh, they tell you, oh, go, Mike, all this, whatever. I was, not brave of myself to try it out. And so I just did small stuff to work my way up there. But once I hit the conversational stuff, I was just like, can I do this more? And the funny thing is, like, again, I am grateful that I got you at all, because when we were trying to discuss back and forth, I condolences to your friend who had passed recently, and I was like, oh, dang it. But no, it was back and forth for a while. I was like, oh, please, dear Lord, please. I don't care if he's big or not. It doesn't matter. I just want to be able to get him on, because I'm trying to break into these spheres that other content creators are in, the sphere of entertainment, the sphere of sports, the sphere of all this stuff. It's not easy, because I'm in the place of, I can go anywhere with this. I can talk about the 90s stuff of like how Tickle Me Elmo was probably Sesame Street's biggest seller. Elmo sold Sesame Street big time. But just stuff like that. Like it's probably part of the entertainment stuff, but I digress. I didn't think it'd be here doing this. I didn't think it would be possible, because you're always unsure. And I'm still unsure every month, because it was in April that I started trying to fill the month. I don't do the weekends. The weekends are an exception, just in case someone can't do it. And I've had a few that are like that. I just do mostly the weekdays, and except for holidays and family stuff that comes up, because you do have to give yourself a break. Like you were talking about, you're working pretty much every day, and when you don't give yourself a break, you burn out. And you see all these content creators, like, what was it, Matt Pat.
There's been a lot, yeah. And I mean, I'm not gonna like comment on any specific ones, but no, yeah. And that's the other thing is I kind of broached this earlier, is like probably the number one thing I get asked outside of entertainment or 4K type questions is usually about YouTubing.
Mm-hmm.
And my number one response to what any advice and anything like that, because I'm sure you'd probably lead to that at some point,
Yeah.
is the first thing I always say is don't. And I hate saying it, because it's one of those things where it's like, unless you think it's something that you can do without having to worry about getting a bunch of subs or being monetized or expecting it to be some sort of career,
Mm-hmm.
then your hopes are not going to get crushed. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
My other suggestion is not to do anything that you're not happy with doing, and or find something that nobody else is really doing.
Yeah.
Because the best part is if something's going to hit and you are going to have success, your chances are much better doing something that you either A, love and is a passion for you, a hobby, what have you.
Yeah.
And B, is even less, on YouTube. Because even when Midnight's Edge got started and such, there was some entertainment stuff out there, but not nearly the amount that there is now. I mean, it's like you can tons and tons. So like, I mean, and there's a lot of people trying to break into the different spheres. And as I heard you say before, and I admire it. Go for it. Try it. It's, I'll do anything I can to help people the best I can. I've been burnt. I've had success both ways. It is what it is, but I try to be as helpful as I can, considering the break that I feel like I had getting into this.
Right.
Even though I helped build where we got to now, it's still, I don't ever look back on it and go like, I'm better than anybody else in this in this game or whatever you want to call it, or business.
Yeah.
But again, it's hard to look at it as a business, especially now. And the reason I say that, just for clarification, isn't because I'm trying to be a Debbie Downer or anything like that, but the things have changed so much in the last few years on YouTube that, especially to do anything that's entertainment related, politically driven, anything that's not safe content in any way,
Yeah.
you're going to have an uphill battle right up front,
Yeah.
no matter what, no matter who you know or what you can do about it. Chances are you're going to run into some roadblocks somewhere because of your content. Now, if you can get past all that business, like let's say you're into crocheting, you're a hell of a crocheter. I'm just picking up a random thing. And you start a crochet, and actually there's probably a ton of crochet channels, but let's just say, for the sake of my argument, there's not very many crocheting channels.
Right.
I'll encourage somebody to get into your hobby, doing that more so than other things. And you never know what that could lead you to.
Yeah.
There could be other places, because for instance, Scribelight, who's on Midnight's Edge After Dark, he doesn't do can I swear? Okay, I'm sorry.
You're fine. No, you're
Shit.
fine.
Yeah, he doesn't do a shit ton of entertainment news on his channel, but what he does love is when he gets over and gets to talk about the entertainment news with us. Right. So there's people like that too, just because I happen to know him and I know what he's into, and he's a writer and he does other things, so blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That can work its way into other things. There's other people I've seen who kind of are adjacent to the community, I would say, that do completely different kind of content. And some of those people I feel bad for them, because I wonder if sometimes associating with certain people in our quote unquote community or fandom or whatever you want to call us, that can actually hinder their growth. But at the end of the day, again, the most I can stress is do something you love with it, and make sure you're doing something that isn't going to cost you too much up front, and you're not relying on for your income, and never put it in front of your family or friends.
Yep.
That's the thing, because then you get trapped. See, because I'm trapped in a place now with it, or I don't mean to make it sound bad, but it's like, we're sucked into the machine now to where I don't even know what a vacation feels like, right? Like, I haven't had a day off outside of when I was probably near death. But even then, I've gotten up and done and handled stuff. I can't think of one day since I've been a part of Midnight's Edge where I haven't had to deal with something with Midnight's Edge, outside of when I went out to Vegas. And even then, it was still tangentially about Midnight's Edge, and I was still in contact with Andre and trying to post things online, even though the net was a pain in the ass out there and everything else. It was just, it is what it is. But that being said, that's my whole point, is do what you love, and you'll never feel like you're failing. You'll never feel like you're not accomplishing anything. You'd be surprised what you may know that other people don't, that might take off at some point. It's just, it's kind of a crapshoot of sorts in the gambling sense, but if, like I said, if you're doing something that you are having fun doing, then you'll never feel like you're losing out in any way.
Yeah. And I know you hit the ball on point. I came up with these two questions, right? What are you going in for, and what do you expect out of it? Because a lot of people, it's like a shining star. They expect the fame, they expect some money and all that stuff. But I'm here to tell you right now, your chances are about as good as winning the lottery. And it's worse. And it's worse. You're probably better getting struck twice by lightning than actually becoming a successful YouTuber. That's how.
Now, unfortunately, that's the case. Like, back when we first got into it, like, here's the sad part, is we used to be able to get away with doing 1 to 2 videos a week tops.
Yeah.
And that would be enough for us to make a living, like, not quite a living, but enough to get by. And I had oh, you okay?
Calm down the rug pipe. Sorry.
Trying to kill yourself on stream here.
Yep, that's the whole point.
I'm joking, YouTube. I'm joking. No, like, you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's when it's like when you swallow your spit.
Yes,
and it goes down the wrong pipe, and you're just like, why? Why of all reasons do you do this, body? Why? No, I'm fine. It's just
okay, good. But yeah, as I was saying then, basically when we first got started, it was a little bit more comfortable. Or you didn't have to. It didn't seem like YouTube expected as much out of you to be able to do it as a side gig or what have you. I mean, I still had another job because I had a kid
nice.
that was underage yet, to where I didn't want to have to worry about YouTube being my main thing or anything like that. But like once he was out of the house and all that stuff, and things were going well.
Right.
Like it actually got to a point where Andre and I think we did okay. And he, like I said, he and I both had other jobs for a while, and then that became our main source. But then YouTube likes to change everything all the time, and now we're struggling constantly trying to keep up with algorithms, trying to figure out what the machine wants us to do or punish us for this time.
Yeah.
It's an endless crapshoot of what you're going to deal with every single day. You never know.
Yeah.
Like, and live streams are a whole nother animal, and that's kind of where I was brought in to begin with. But yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. I don't want to. I don't want this to be the stream. It's like the guest comes on. It's like he's dead. Why is he dead? No.
Yeah, that'd be great.
it's like man, no, but I get it because and not to be coming up against anyone because I know saying it can feel like that, but that's why I multi-platform because when you put all your stuff on one platform, they own you. They own you because you can't
it can be a dicey situation. I seen somebody asked in the chat earlier about why Midnight's Edge After Dark doesn't stream to Rumble very much. No, I just figure it's a good time to address that.
Yeah,
because we do stream to multi-platforms, but the main channel Andre handles that, and I'll be honest with you guys, it's just because I'm tech-tarded and I don't know. I'm really not good at using Rumble, and it's real easy to set up a stream with StreamYards compared to Rumble. And for me to go and set one up for Rumble, I have to go through like 2 or 3 other steps that are a pain in the butt, and I pay for StreamYards. So we do stream Midnight's Edge After Dark to X and to YouTube for now, but it's always we're always open to it in the future.
Yeah.
But we always don't want to necessarily abandon, our bread and butter at the same time.
Yeah.
So like we also don't want to pull people away from where we are monetized and we have a little more control over that compared to we've started up Rumbles and other things, and we do a little bit of money on Rumble, but not anything to keep it like if tomorrow Rumble said, well, you have to exclusively do this, we'll be like, you got to pay us this much because and that's where we've had to at least been able to, I guess is one way of putting it, go to some advertisers and stuff, or go with some advertisers and have that as an extra cushion in case a video does die on the vine, because that happens more than you'd think. Where even if you're hitting everything that everybody else is hitting, all of a sudden it just hits a roadblock, and all these hours spent on a video, while if it wasn't for some of those ads, sometimes they make up for the stinkers we have, but we have to hope those ad videos do well too. So it's a juggling act. It's constantly a juggling act. And I mean, Andre, my God, he has to be a stoic robot to be able to put up with so much of the shit that he does, because I'm emotional and American.
Yeah.
So, I have my sensibilities I bring to the table, and he's stoic and Norwegian. Yeah. And, he brings his sensibilities to the table, and together we kind of work well. And Mikey sometimes has to be the guy in the middle to go, this what makes more fiscal sense. This makes more, sense for our audience. This makes kind of be that tiebreaker of sorts in a way. It's not like we get into arguments either. It's just, we'll debate. Like, I mean, Andre's really good at listening to what I have to say and vice versa. And I'm really good at saying things to him like, this is what I would do, but that, it's your choice, but this is the advantage, this is possibly the disadvantage, or thinking of things that he might not be thinking of in an editorial, then that'll bring a whole new angle to things. I mean, we work as a team in so many different ways that it's unlike I couldn't imagine any other job being like this or structured this way.
Yeah.
But it's I wouldn't trade it for anything else either at the same time. So it is very rewarding when it does work and when things are great monetarily. But I mean, even the friendships and the people that I've met and the things that I've experienced, I don't think I would ever trade that for anything else I've worked on before. So yeah, it is a struggle at times, but when it's worth it, it definitely makes it worth it. So yeah.
Yeah, and I don't, again, I don't begrudge you on the Rumble end because, again, I've said before, I'll praise Rumble when it does well, and I'll admonish it when it does poorly, and it's had its ups and downs, and it's getting better over time. But like, um, I know, and I've probably been asked before, have you ever at least been interested enough to at least try Rumble Studios just once to see if it will work well for you? Because
It
it is,
has been brought up to us, and I think Andre was looking into it a bit, but me personally, no, I have not. And it's not that I wouldn't, it's just
yeah.
also squeezing that time into some, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You're a busy man. I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just learning another program and all that business. StreamYards is just so, like, I'm at that age now. That's the other thing, is just like my schooling and everything goes back to an analog age.
Mhm.
So digital anything is really kind of new to me.
Yeah.
Still to this day, like even editing that I had to do, I had to kind of teach myself a lot of this stuff. I'm a very novice person when it comes to the actual technical side of things.
Right.
So like, yeah, but I mean, I know what looks good. I know what I want to do,
Mhm.
and it might take me 10,000 years to get to what I want to do,
Right.
but I'll figure it out at some point, hopefully. But yeah, it's just,
Yeah.
one of those things. You gotta just do what you can, the best you can, and work with what you got at the end of the day. But no, if I could do Rumble, I totally would. It's not like I wouldn't. I would stream to as many places as I could
Yeah.
if there was an easier way to do it.
Yeah.
But for me to have to set up 10,000 streams is a pain in the butt for me, 'cause I'm not a very techie person.
I will tell you this. I had somebody on. His name's Squall Rush, and he streams to like 7 to 8 different platforms. So I was like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm not streaming to 7 to 8 different platforms. Maybe a few, but not that many. But no, and look, if you want help, if you ever come to the point where you ever get the chance to and want help, I'm willing to help. I'm willing to do whatever I can because, again, you pay for StreamYards. For what it's worth, you can stream to X and YouTube and Rumble all in the same go, and you're paying nothing for it. And it's still a work in progress. Sure, they have the campaign ad reads now that if you're up at a certain point, you can read. You have to meet a minimum requirement of people watching, but you can read an ad. It's only one ad per stream though, and yeah, and that's another thing that's going to interest people and coming to use it. But again, I understand. Uh, it's like the saying, teaching an old dog new tricks, right? And not saying you're that old, but still, but I'm still willing to offer what I can because I post my stuff to both ends. Again, I multi-platform myself because if one platform owns your stuff, it makes it hard to negotiate, makes it hard to not get away or at least keep your stuff safe, building that safety net. But at the end of the day, I invest in the Rumble stock. I do all this stuff. I invested because I believe in their possibility of the future, right? Because of course, the election stuff is coming up, and you're gonna have all this stuff. I mean, you've just seen the what was it, the news of CNN that you can't stream the debate because they'll just shut you down. And of course, YouTube's willing to comply because again, YouTube is Google, unfortunately, um, and and all
Yeah,
that.
they're the landlord.
Yeah, they're the landlord, and they're not a good landlord either. They're like if you're the one that earns them a lot of money, they'll give you some leeway. But if you're not, good luck. But yeah, like I said, I get it. I hear the complaints. I've said my piece as well, especially for the content creator payout, and that all that sort of stuff. But there's news on the horizon where they're going to add another thing, Stripe, and they're going to continue on trying to improve that because they know it's been complained about many times. But yeah, but for me, it's like if people want help and understanding, I'll do my best. They've added stuff for OBS and Streamlabs that you can connect there. And then, of course, again, the ad reads and all that stuff. It is a learning curve, yes. But will it take you, the end of your life? No. It's just a new little iPhone. You got to learn how to do it. I've had to help my grandparents with the.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll figure it out sooner or later.
No, and you do have a point saying that you you have to have the time. And yes, it's going to take some time, maybe 24 hours. If you give it 24 hours, you may be able to figure out just well enough. But if you don't, it makes it difficult. And again, I'm not here to force people, because there are people out there who are like, oh, you should do it because I'm like, look, just give it a chance. If it doesn't work out well out for you, totally understand, right? Totally understand. But just give it a chance. And if it works out well enough that you'll continue to use it, because again, it is free. It is free. And that saves you like 25 to whatever your amount you're paying for StreamYard. So, and yeah, so, but I'm willing to offer whatever dumb services I have. I'm like you, I'm not the smartest man in the toolbox, but I work. I still work.
Sometimes I have a purpose. Exactly.
It's like, what is this weird tool doing in the toolbox? I think I'll use it later. But anyway, so because you're new here, at the top of the hour of every hour, I have somebody on. I put aside some time to promote ourselves. So people will say like grifting, shilling, whatever. Those are just negative connotations that are what they are. But yeah, I just sort of put some time. I did put the links of Midnight's Edge and your Twitter X, but I didn't know if you want to. Yeah. Well, yeah, you didn't get anything back for links, so I just took what I could anyway. But if you want to promote yourself in like the wildest way, whatever way you want to do it, the floor is yours, sir.
Well, I'm not really known for promoting myself real well. In fact, I get yelled at for not doing so well. But yeah, of course, you can find me at Midnight's Edge After Dark. I have Lost Classics channel where I do all my music stuff. I have what else? I got Mead Radio. Yeah, that's basically where you can find me. Otherwise, I hang out with a bunch of other hooligans here and there. So, yeah.
I'm sure they'll appreciate that. Get out of here!
They're gonna have to.
Oh goodness. Okay, so I'll be showing off some of the studio stuff here. So I stream. Of course, I gotta get above that. I stream to both YouTube and Rumble at DaraMuth. I also have a Discord at DaraMuth, but that's mostly for DMing. I also have a Twitter X account, fan account. I'll explain that in a bit, at Veramoose. And I also have an email. Down in the link tree below, you can find all those links. Look, guys, people like Tom, people like Squall Rush, people like Luke's Awakening, people like Mike Mullis, who I had on yesterday. I've had so many different people. It doesn't matter, big or small or not a creator, it does not matter. The point of the matter is being able to sit down and have a conversation about whatever and just go. Because again, like we talked about earlier, a lot of people are in their sectors, their spheres, and they usually just talk about what's in those spheres. And rightly so, you've chosen that sphere, whatever. But I don't want to be stuck there. I want to take a hammer to all of it and bust open and be like the Sound of Music, just free and open. And because there's so much of our lives that are, history or whatnot, and we're talking 24/7 news stuff, and it can get tiring after a while. But anyway, but yes, if you go down the link tree below, or if you go down to the comment section on either YouTube or Rumble, we can get started. Look, just about anyone has the opportunity. Majority of people I've had on in my Rumble chat have been on the show. I've had 2 people from Australia. I've talked to 2 people from Alaska on. I've talked to a few people from the UK. And many people around the U.S. and so on and so forth, and that's how it is. It's just free flowing conversation. I know some people have a little difficulty with it. They're like, because they're so used to like, what's the topic when we talk about? But I'm like, dude, just come. The conversation is a topic, and we'll have fun with it. It's about having fun with it, because it sounds like you get drained a lot. you are not alive at the end of the day. Jeez.
Yeah, no, I'm running out of fuel here, so yeah. Yeah, it's been a long day already.
Yeah, and I do thank you for at least giving me some of your time. But there's also a secondary part to it, right? Because okay, so if you're out there, all of you understand. You've heard YouTubers say it: share, like, and subscribe. You've heard them all, pretty much all say it. That's all the mantra that they give, because it's just easy to say: share, like, and subscribe. So I have sort of that, but I'll give my reason for it. So the reason why I need help with engagement is one, because it helps me being seen more, right? That's always the case, right? But it helps me being seen more in order to have more people on. Look, there are so many people out there with so many different perspectives about the world. And sometimes they don't get to say it. They don't get to talk their piece on it because there's like something in their mind that's really digging at them, and it may not have to do with entertainment at all. And it's just being able to have the opportunity to just bring it up and say, hey, I'd like to talk about this or whatever. And that's fine. But in order to have that happen, I have to be seen more because, again, we all know about the algorithm on YouTube. Rumble is still getting theirs together. They're building their recommendation engine, which will turn into a personalization engine. So it's a period of time, but they've done a lot within the last few years. So, but anyway, guys, whether it's a like, whether it's a follow, whether it's a comment, or whether it's sharing it, whether it's all of it or just one of it, it doesn't matter. Whatever you help with helps being able to bring on more people, more conversations, and just have a great time. Because at the end of the day, we're that thing, and of course I apologize, I know this will hit close to you, but that thing that's going to be there at the end of us is going to be there. It's non-negotiable. I'm sorry to tell you, you'll either be 6 feet under or dust in the wind. And if you're going through this life and you're not at least enjoying some of it, if you're killing yourself to live, right? Because there's always that saying, live, work to live, not live to work, whatever that saying is. Why not just stop, smell the roses, and have a good time conversing with others? And that's what I want to do with this. That's what DaraChat is to have free-flowing conversation with as many different people as possible. I've had people who aren't creators on this thing, and that's important. Just as important as having a creator, because we're all humans at the end of the day. We're all going to be gone at the end of our lives. And let's just sit down and have a great time. So thank you for any help you give, and I appreciate it immensely. Thank you guys so much. I don't. Tom's working 12, 6 days a week. Yeah. I've seen some of the streams. I know Tom is like with the toxic femininity to everything through the week. It's like, dude, to give this man a break. Oh, nice. But yeah, it's just, I get it. I have a full-time job and I do this. I don't like my full-time job. I rather look forward to doing this. I would still have a part-time job if I've made enough. But the thing of it is like, there's something, if I'm able to fill 3 months, April, May, and now June, 3 months of weekdays, right? Just weekdays of people coming on and having a conversation. That shows there is something missing that I didn't think was possible. And that's why I started, is because I and nothing against, creators, whatever. It's just the way it is. That's YouTube trains you through their algorithm and all that stuff. And for me, it's like, I get, chasing the 24/7 news. And again, it's nothing against people. It's just, but I can't. There's just so much more. It's that song from Beauty and the Beast. There's so much more to this provincial life, or whatever that word she says. And there is. And I'm tired of wandering. I'm tired of being the adult who doesn't know what to do with their life. And I came to this thing and I found it, like, let's do it. I enjoy it. I don't have to fill every day. Well, the weekdays. I don't have to fill the weekdays in the month, but I challenged myself by trying to do so, and I'm always surprised by it. I'm worried. I'm heavily worried. But when I do fill the month, I'm like, I filled another month. I didn't believe that was possible. It's insane. But yeah, no, and I tried. I will let you know that I will have Nick some in July on as well. So that was another one I tried to get after, and I got him. No, but again, it's just about people like you, Tom. Like, we don't know about the behind the scenes on what you do on Midnight's Edge. I mean, you probably have talked a bit sometimes, but to hear the difficulty, to hear the exasperation, and there's like, trying to tell people who want to get to you, be like, look, don't go into this for money. Don't go into this for fame. You're not going to get it. You might as well just walk out that door and go into something else, right? But yeah, it's just when you find that thing, it can be quite enjoyable, and I'm grateful to anyone who comes on, because I didn't think I'd be here doing this. So it's always a surprise to me. It's always a
No
surprise to
problem.
me. Yeah,
No, I'm
but
glad to have been able to get on and talk with you.
yeah, I know I'm not the most interesting person, but hell, we can have a great time just conversing about whatever. And if we laugh about it, hey, there we go.
No worries.
So, but I know you're probably wanting to go to bed, so I don't know if you're, can go up to a little longer, or you just want to.
I don't know if you have a couple more questions. I might be able to answer a couple more, but yeah, I got to get something to eat here pretty soon.
Okay, well, yeah, and I know people are like, well, this is an interview. It's like, well, the dude can ask me questions, and that's like, is it an interview at that point? I don't know. Probably not. But there's something going to be at the end. So why don't we just do this? Why don't we just go ahead and since you need to get something to eat, because it's 9 your time, it's 10 my time. So why don't we
it's quarter after already. Yeah.
yeah, so why don't we just go ahead and again, Tom, I do thank you, and of course I know you're busy, but the door is always open if you ever do want to come on again, just for the heck of it, to shoot crap or whatever, because I do want this thing to be as freeing enough, because I've told people, look, I stream on YouTube, so I got to do that still thing, but I will give you 98% of the field. You can curse all day long. I don't give a rat's behind. All I ask is for that 2%. You give me that 2%, you can have that the rest of the soccer field. You can do jamborees, you can do whatever you want. But yeah, so yeah, and I always appreciate it. But yeah, you're always welcome to come back on if you ever want to, because I really,
Sure,
I
I'm
really
sure we
like
can figure it out again.
yeah, because there's a gentleman on from the UK. His name is Jack Tarlad, and I've had that dude on for like 7 times. So it's not like it's not like the end of the conversation ends there. There's always another time to come on and just converse about whatever. So, but anyway, thank you, Mr. Tom. And of course, we already did we already did our spiel earlier, so I'm not going to do it again
Yeah.
because he's wanting to eat. But there is something I do before
Sure.
the end. I've been starting to do. The James Lipton Actor Studio is, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, and then you've also heard of Who's Line, right? The US version, not the.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was. I was trying to figure out if something different to do, try to add on other than the post-it notes, because whatever. And there's at the end of the Actor Studio, like James Lipton would ask whoever was on these same sort of questions. Now, some of those questions are in this, but they're, it's just a mixture. And of course, Whose Line Is It Anyway? One of my favorite games of Whose Line was Scenes from a Hat. And so I decided, well, there's this thing, questions, hat and all stuff. So I decided to make something called Questions from a Hat, which is this. I bought a Rumble hat off the store, and I have a few questions, but it's basically, so there's a different bunch of stuff. Some of the questions that James Lipton asked, I'm going to trip over myself. And then some are just stuff I came along the way or people gave to me, whatever, and you're welcome to give some if you want. But here's how it goes. 2 questions free of charge.
All right.
Will, to you. And if anyone in the chat, probably just Rumble because I'm not monetizing YouTube, wants to give a rant or whatever, they can, and even $1. If you give $1, I'll pull another one out of the hat and we can go. But anyway, so we're here for the first one. I'm not looking. You can't. Okay, I've got one. Got one right here. We'll see what this is. Okay, here we go. So what's the most absurd piece of advice you've ever received about content creation?
Absurd.
Or weird. Something within that vein.
Gosh, I don't know if there really is one per se. I mean,
If that's not, that's fine. It's just a question of, but yeah, it's weird or absurd or something of that manner. Because I'm
I mean,
pretty
I
sure.
guess the closest I can come to it is like when there was probably a gap between understanding the relevance of something between Andre and I because he wanted to like reference some foreign show or something like that that I had no frame of reference for.
Right.
Something like that is. I know it's kind of a boring answer. I wish I had a better one than
Fine.
that, but other than that, maybe people asking to do certain response videos, probably to what other YouTubers or other pundits
Yeah.
are saying about certain things. In which case, yeah, to an extent, I will, but not like on a certain like once it's a certain level, I don't definitely don't like to punch down.
Yeah.
Um, so like yeah, like John Campia's the Grace Randolph's, that's one thing, but I'll never respond to anything in a video form that like anybody does that's what I consider in any way, shape, or form punching down and or would be considered drama. That's
Yeah.
one thing we definitely don't get into on Midnight's Edge. Now, that ain't to say that I won't comment from time to time on other people's streams about some drama here and there, but even then, I kind of try and keep most of my
Mhm.
opinions and stuff to where I'm knowledgeable, and that's in the entertainment realm of things. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's interesting. Like for me, I don't. I've seen too much from any other creator about drama, and I don't really care. I don't care about your silly issue you have with someone. I don't care. This whole thing, this whole spiel. Let me put it this way: if an EMP drops on the U.S. and takes out all the power, your jobs are done. Just gonna say that right now. So all those people who rely on it,
Yeah.
it's so you're
That's
silly.
about the most I can think of is yeah, drama related and or just yeah.
I don't really care about the drama stuff. It could go in a fire. All right, second one. Not looking. It's like flipping a pancake. Okay, I got one. I hope it's not really one of those. All right. What is number 2? Oh, here we go. That's another content creator one. But which is
Sure.
more important for content creation, the creators or platform?
I guess I'd have to say definitely the creator. Because most people are gonna yeah, I mean, yeah, the platform matters, but at the same time, most people are just gonna
Yeah.
try and find whatever creator they're interested in most cases.
Yeah.
I guess that answer could go either way. I mean, I guess if you're not on YouTube, then there's going to be a swath of people who are never going to probably find you. But
Mhm.
at the end of the day, if you're a personality that transcends
Mhm.
any platform, then I think you're fine. Like your Alex Joneses or whoever you want to insert there. Or, what's his face who went to Sirius? I'm trying to think. Anyway, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? People who sign
Yeah.
exclusive deals and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and you can quartering, but I don't think quartering's that big in essence of like. Well, I mean, his name is Gizmo.
I don't
Regardless,
think he has an exclusive deal as far. I mean, and I think he has a deal with. I don't know if he has a deal with Rumble at all, but
he
yeah.
does. I don't know if it's been renewed or not, but there's some people. I
Yeah.
mean, that's one thing I'll admonish Rumble on is they kind of did bad deals of. I know they're trying to bring people on because eyes and stuff, but at the end of the day, they kind of brought on some like just people that didn't need a deal, and some of it kind of blew back in their face. So it is what it is. But yeah, it's a synergy, creator and platform, because without a platform, creators would have to build their own website and all this stuff, and without creators, a platform would just be nothing. So there's a
Yeah,
synergy.
yeah. It is a synergy, but I'd still say yeah, the creator probably gets the edge a little bit there.
Yeah,
And I mean,
'cause, like,
even YouTube, you could argue, was built by creators like the Angry Video Game Nerd and PewDiePie and such. So I mean, it's kind of a cyclical thing, but still give the edge. Yeah, I mean, if you want, you can ask me one more. You got time? I'll give you one more.
well, this isn't going to be from the hat. This is more personal.
Sure.
And it's not going to be about platform or anything. It's just going to be for all you've done through this, right? Through this
Mhm.
whole from whatever, because you said you were doing stuff before you became on Midnight's Edge.
Yep.
Salty probably. Yeah, that's funny. Before you became on Midnight's Edge, or just doing this whole creation of spiel, what has been a lesson you've learned throughout all this that you really wish would be hammered out more than not? Because it feels like a lot of people get into this and they don't understand, and they need to be like, this is the thing. You need to be reminded every time. So what's the thing you'd like to be hammered onto a lot of times by content creators, like, saying to the people in the audience or whatever?
Probably something that I even need to remind myself of, probably more than not. So I mean, I guess that's probably a fair one to bring up.
Mm.
Because like I said, I'm even guilty of it myself. And it's not to worry so much about other people's content and or how good or bad other people are doing. And it's not that I'm really one that's like really jealous or anything. I mean, I do like to see my friends and everything, but what I hate is just like, you put like in a good example is like you'll put all kinds of work into something
Mm.
and nobody will watch it. And I know a lot of smaller content creators know the pain of that.
Mm.
And then like some Watch Mojo or whatever, or Joe Blow
Yeah.
content, really lowbrow clickbaity content will do something similar, and you're just sitting there watching that get tons and tons of clicks
Mhm.
while your video just languishes. I mean, you can't take that shit so personally.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of you got to remind yourself that it's the game, and it's nothing to do with anything other than it's how YouTube works. It's how people work. It's
Mhm.
and it kind of goes off the last question you asked me. I mean, at some point, a personality will emerge, and I'd like to think that. I mean, I can be abrasive, I can be cocky, I can be whatever you want to put there,
Right.
but I also know generally what I'm talking about, or I wouldn't be that way. And
Right.
at the same time, I like to think that I'm a nice guy for the most part, or I try not to treat people any differently than they treat me. So
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, I guess in that respect, just quit worrying. I think people should quit trying to treat this like some sort of a race. I've seen a
Yeah.
lot of people get wrapped up. And again, I'm even guilty of it at times too. And it's just a matter of just minor little stupid things I'll catch myself doing. But even in that sense, the people that have done it even more broadly, it's
Mhm.
just one of those things you got to remember. It's a rat race.
Mhm.
And not to take shit so damn personally, not to get so jealous of things, not to not to let your ego get in the way of things. And I can be a diva, and I mean, and that comes from wanting to be an actor, and then in turn end up being a DJ, on air DJ for a while, because I knew acting was not a viable
It's
income source.
right.
But all that led me to where I am now, my love of film and my love of that kind of
Mhm.
stuff. But yeah, no, it just I just try to remind myself why I'm here, why I'm doing it, and not to try and compare myself so much to what the Joneses are up to, because you'll never keep up.
And
Um,
I
One
have
way or
a
another, there's always going to be somebody else who's going to win the race. You might
yeah.
get lucky, and it might be you someday, but it's just that, like you said before, the lottery bit. It's a good way of putting it.
I was more like you probably get struck by lightning twice more than the lottery, so I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
you're
know.
right.
I don't know if I should say that. No, I
Now,
get
if you
that.
can catch yourself getting caught on lightning, getting hit by lightning twice on video, that's a different conversation to be had. Now we're talking clicks, folks. Yeah, no, like that's another thing I guess to avoid is not to do something stupid to just try and
Oh,
get,
oh yeah.
because that's another thing is people who chase that dragon, that drama dragon,
Mhm.
that's the kind of content. It's like, I mean, some people, we've had people come at us with like the thing like, well, what are you going to do when all this woke entertainment's done and over with, or if it wins and it's the dominant thing? It's like, well, then we'll just keep reporting on what we do.
Yeah.
Right. One way or another. It's like we were here before the woke problem. Hopefully we'll be here after the woke problem.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that there aren't certain channels that got to worry about that, because that's what they built their entire brand on.
Right.
But, I mean, the beauty of what we did when we came in is we were a part of this before any of this hubbub was a thing.
Mhm.
And we can go back to doing whatever. I mean, we still do, what we used to do. That's the beauty of it. But I mean, if this goes away, so what? Then it's just the next thing. Right. So I'm not worried about that. So yeah, like try not to chase that drama dragon if you can. try not to invest yourself too much one way or another in things. That's, I guess, the best way to put it. Also, with another extension of that last bit of advice, simply just because, and I mean, we've seen things where you can invest yourself so much in one way, and then one or two things will happen later on, and you realize you're wrong or different. That's why I try to stay as indifferent as I can, and not as. I mean, the things I get emotionally involved in are generally tangential or
Yeah. Yeah.
not wrapped around a person or an individual, I guess, if that makes sense as to what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Some people will call me a James Gunn shill, and it's like, no, he just hasn't done anything yet in a movie to make me go that he shouldn't be making movies, or this movie in
Right.
particular. Now, I'm not saying that the images that have come out recently have not given me some worry and pause. I'm not going to deny that. Just like most people have not been on board with them. But I'm still going to wait and see what the movie is, because it can look like shit and still be a good movie.
Right. Yeah.
It could, just like, look, I'll be the first to say that I thought Henry Cavill looked great as Superman. I wasn't totally on board with the costume portion of it, but I will agree that yes, he looks better in the costume at this point than what Corn Sweat does. But we haven't seen the movie yet. Henry Cavill looked great, but to me and a lot of other people, the movie sucked. So we have yet to see if this movie's going to suck or not. That's my main concern right now. I don't care what he's wearing so much as if the movie sucks. That's one of the least of my worries right now when it comes to things like, and that's just an example, right? You can't get too invested or too wrapped up into the stuff. And that's where I'm also kind of known as a troll, because I do trigger those who do get a little, and that's how I keep myself a little more grounded too, is to remind myself, not to get myself so wrapped up into that.
Yeah, because I have been there when you've done your rant, so I know how much you can get. So no worries.
Well, and a part of that, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, yes, I'm amping it up. I'm pushing a bit. I'm a showman of sorts, but I'm also a very boisterous person in general. Like right now, this is probably the most laid back and subdued. Don't get me wrong, I understand that, but most of the time I'm fully aware that I'm there to put on partially a show. I got to be somewhat entertaining. I got to be somewhat, and you want to be right in what you're saying, yes, but also poignant at the same time. You can't just rant. I've seen people just rant, and yes, I'm not going to deny that I have a gift for ranting.
Right.
It's one of those things, but I try not to do it as much as I used to. That's one thing too.
Yeah, and it's good. Give your voice a break, because man, some of those.
Well, it's not just that; it's the health aspect, and just at a point, like, you can't rant about everything all the time. And I'm only being so sincere about it, right? Like, I'm not gonna say I'm in any way pretending to be something I'm not on the streams, but it's an exaggerated version of me in sense. That's the best way I can put it, because I've never been, because the audience will figure it out. They'll pick it out right away if you're being just disingenuous.
Yep.
Right. And I'm not going to sit there and say I haven't obviously gotten emotional about certain things, but it's like, at the same time, I'm going to amp it up a little bit when it comes to the rants and the goofiness on certain things, because I'm putting on a show a little bit. Do I feel that fucking passionate all the time about especially things like Star Wars? No, not anymore. I used to.
Right.
So that's, but do I feel like I'm being disingenuous to my audience? No. And I think they know that. It's kind of like the wrestling thing, in a way.
Yeah.
Even that's probably a bad comparison, because that's even, less real than, because I do really feel this way about a lot of things. I wouldn't say it if I didn't feel it in certain respects.
Right.
But I mean, talking with you like this is a little bit more laid back than if I'm talking on a panel with 5 other guys.
Yeah.
And we're trying to entertain, and inform at the same time. And, if something pisses me off, I'm going to say something about it. I mean, I may say it a little differently than if I was saying it to you, or like we are right here, or in a bar, or whatever setting you want to put it in, in a barbecue or whatever. I'm sure I'm not going to sit there. But, sometimes I get a little loud, and just general. I'm a loud person. That's the German side coming out of me. It's just.
He's coming out. Look at him. He's going. He is screaming really loud. My Führer would be very scary. No.
That very boisterous, I definitely, if I maybe in one of my former lives, I was was a like a band leader of a polka band or something. Who knows? But yeah, I have
You,
that kind of a yeah. But no, I'm generally very jovial. Like I mean,
yeah,
I'm not somebody who likes to be angry. I do like to argue and disagree and get into debates,
right.
but I'm generally not somebody who likes to argue or get upset or mad at stuff. I'm generally pretty laid back.
Same.
Um, so I mean, I guess if there's anything that I'd have to admit, that's the one thing I do amp up a lot, and I have kind of backed off on it a bit too, just because it's
Right.
make it worth more when I do, for one reason
Get
or
them super
another.
chats in. No, no, and
No, no.
but I do get it. And the thing of it is, right, is that anger, just speaking on anger alone, anger is a boost, but it's very short, right? Like true anger, right? Or maybe for the entertainment side or whatever. But anger in itself is very short tempered, and you it's like coming down from a sugar crash, right? You've had a ton of sugar, and all of a sudden you hit that point, it's like and you just drop like a ball, and it's like, oh goodness. But you know, this sort of social media stuff, it does push that kind of, right? It does push anger, it pushes the yelling, the screaming, and all this stuff because algorithm, right? Or the thing people want to see. People want to see the fighting and and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, though, it's like, do you end up enjoying the content, the stuff you're creating? Doing that, and for me, it's just like I've gotten, what's the word? Not I've been frustrated, sure, but it's not the word. Not frustrated, but it's sort of like in the moment sort of thing where you talk about this thing and there's a bit of emotion there, say maybe like a riled up. There we go, riled up. Maybe get a little riled up or whatever. But at the end of the day, though, it's realizing that this thing that we've been blessed with, technology, right? Again, it's a double. Anything humans create is a double-edged sword. This thing we've had allows us to connect to other people. Using Rumble Studios, I can be connected to people all across the world in some manner, and it's been great. It's been fun. I mean, it's not fun when you have to plan like a 15-hour difference between someone in Australia, but it's still fun.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like, come on, all right, mate, we're just
Oh,
gonna
don't
get
even
right
get
on
me
that.
started on time zones, my friend.
I know I'm an hour
Don't
ahead
even
of
get me
you.
started. I need to. I'm not joking when I've said I need to get one of those world clock things, like
There's
Sci-Fi for Me TV has in his thing. It's like I need that because, like, at some point I get so twisted around on what direction shit's going that.
if if you there's one online. It's called the website is time.is.
I even
Tim.
have it on my phone,
Oh, okay,
but
okay,
that's another thing is my phone, like, unless I'm out and about, I'm very inactive on my phone.
right.
So, like,
And it's
yeah.
understandable, but for me it's just like all this, and then you spoken on it earlier, the whole drama stuff, all this stuff, it's understandable, and they catching the rants and all this stuff because that's what it is. That's what people want. They want they
Yeah.
not all, but a big chunk of it. But for me it's just like, why is it we come to this point where, and especially across the politics side, the men and women relationship side, all these things, we come to a point where it gets more difficult to just sit down across from each other and just have a conversation, work these things out, and try to build something better instead of just like, be like the angry husband and wife who just throw dishes at each other and just call each other names.
Mhm.
No, why can't we have this? Why does it always be this anger and yelling and screaming? It doesn't have to be. And that's what I want to do with this. Now you can be passionate, you can be riled up, you can be all these things, but at the end of the day, we can take a breath and we can leave and go on and do other things and be of a calm mind, because I'm telling you what, this whole drama stuff, whatever it may be, on any channel, on any grace, it's dumb. It's just
Yeah.
it's high school dumb stuff, and I'm tired of it. I don't want it. I'm not here for debates. I'm not here for arguments. I'm here for the conversation, because this is the treasure. This is the treasure right here. This I get to talk to some dude in Minnesota, Wisconsin, whatever it is, and we get to have just a fun time blasting whatever it is, and just enjoy talking. As yes, it is. No, leave him alone, Cyber Mario. Come on. Just joking. But I get to talk to you. I get to talk to all these different people, and it's amazing. It's wonderful. And there's, I can't imagine myself doing the whole, you doing all the time, but I do five shows a week with a different person every time, or an old person every time. It's so amazing. It's so wonderful, and I want to continue it. My ultimate thing is to try to fill all the months, other than family and holiday, to the end of the year. And I don't, when the people on, they're not stepping stones. They are people who I get to connect with on this manner, of which I didn't think possible before. And that's the important part. The conversation is the important part for me. Everything else is secondary, because when you focus too much on the money side, on this side or whatever, or the view side or whatever, you start becoming this paranoid thing. And you're just like, why is it failing? Why is this? Because I post shorts to both ends. And
Mhm.
I do agree that maybe YouTube does kind of shadow ban some shorts, but at the end of the day, it's just like I'm using these as a vehicle to connect with other people, to subscribe, but a subscriber is just another opportunity to have someone on, and that's how I want to do it. It's not about fame. Money is great, but that's mostly just temporary, because you have to give it up in the end anyway. So.
Mhm.
But anyway, I apologize. It's been a long tangent, and I know you want to go eat, so I apologize.
No, you're fine. Yeah, my stomach's reminding me that I gotta eat here.
I
So.
apologize for that.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Hey, UB Legend, thank you for stopping by. It's going well. It's going well, sir. Thank you for stopping by. UB Legend is a rumbler over here, and all that stuff. And I've met a lot of different creators and whatnot. So, but anyway, guys, I need to let Tom go to get something to eat. But Tom,
Yes.
I've sent you many a times chat rants for this, and I know it's probably asking a lot, but can you do your Optimus Prime thing and send us off?
Do you want Optimus Prime or Optimus Pride?
I don't know which ones I should ask that on. No,
Well, Optimus Prime would say roll out. And
that
Optimus
sounds.
Pride would say, check your gender fluids daily. I love it
That's
when I
that's.
pull my dipstick in and out. Over and over.
Oh man, I'm canceled already. No, thank you.
Why does Starscream gotta be such a bad guy? He's so adorbs.
That's why I love you so much, Tom. It's because you could do those voices, but really, no. If you would do the Optimus Prime rollout, and we'll
Sure.
and once you're done, don't forget to mute your mic, because I do play a video after. So go ahead, Mr. Tom, or I'm sorry, Optimus Prime.
You've been watching DaraMuth. This is Optimus Prime. Time to roll out.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good night. See you tomorrow. Bye.